This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man? Hey, before you say something, I see you already found a barber up there.
Oh, I went to Diaz.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I have not found a barber yet. I was gonna figure that out, but it seems so complicated with having to schedule ahead and all the other stuff. So whenever Diaz can fit me in, I think I'm gonna go ahead and make that 10-minute drive over there, that voyage to sit in the chair.
Okay, yeah.
But,
I mean, look, whatever my cousin Alex tells you, if it's under sense of desperation, go with it. Like, Alex probably will have you out there again. Yeah, go get hooked up for like 100. Like, bro, I can't.
No, I refuse.
So, exactly. Like, I don't have time for that. And his 100 is it probably includes some version of someone to be like, hey, you want some help? They try to put you a system in there. Is like, so
yeah, they mess around with your corners and all that.
Yeah,
we gonna bring you back to life.
Yeah, it's like, look, man.
But this is a good conversation. So
okay,
so what did I love? So all my life when I was growing up, right, it seemed like you could get in and out of the barbershop for like under $20.
Yep.
And then one day it changed. I don't know when it was, and it was like all of a sudden it was not that anymore. What do you think is the proper haircut price
for now or for back then?
Man,
or what it should be based on what the prices were back then is what you mean?
I guess it just seemed like it was like, oh shit, like one day I looked up and they was charging like $35 and $40 now.
Right. Like, okay, so when I was a kid, so like this is the late 90s, you can get a haircut for 10, maybe 10 or 15.
And
right?
15, yeah.
So now, let's say like 15 years ago.
Shoot them a 5, when they hooked you up.
Right. So then it jumped up to like around 25 to like 25. Obviously depending on, what you're doing with your face, if you have facial hair or whatever else, they'll also, it's like, that could be anywhere from 10 to 15, whatever. So, wow. He said his barber's still 15. You better keep that barber.
Yes.
You better keep that barber. Like, you better get established relationship to where if he gets done cutting hair, he'll still hook you up off the strength. But yeah, like, I think what it came down to is like social media, not saying it's a bad thing, social media showing people in like Instagram, whatever else, like the clips of the barbers, and they show you like, high quality cuts, and everybody thinking that they are high quality haircutters when they are not, and therefore adding extra treatments to the thing, and then like lean to like the booking as opposed to just people have their bookings, but in the meantime, between time, they're cutting heads. Like, that's all changed. Everything is booked now, right? Like, and it's like you block an hour, or it may be 30 minutes depending on the barber, depending on how fast it moves. But like, once you get into all the treatments and stuff, and then like the whole Beijing era of like just of the dyeing process stuff.
Leaning people back with the hot towel and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like, all of that stuff came with like somewhat these regular barbers, no disrespect to them, all of them cut, otherwise they would be not in these chairs at these places. Went online and said, how can I maximize profit? They looked at these people that were doing these videos and saw what they did and said, oh, I'm gonna do that and then just raise my prices. And that's how you end up with that. And like, no knock against them. You know, cutting the head takes like anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes depending on the barber and
also,
their level
like,
of...
Barbers is like, you know, they provide an essential service. Like they help your self-esteem. You know, they take care of your head. So I don't want it to sound like, hey, you know, we think we should be paying less or anything. I'm just saying, one day it changed. Like,
right. and listening to the women's, right? I know this is men's business, but listen to the women's talk about the barber, like what they can do for the women's. For what they, you know, what might, you know, attract them, what that can happen for them in like, you know, a half hour is not what, apparently, men want out of what women get done their hair. Like that takes 3 hours. Like for a woman to get what like we have to do, like, damn, like that shit takes like 3 hours. Right. So like so you thinking of hairdresser versus barber, even though obviously they both have to get, you know, to get their license, they both have to do a lot of the same stuff. Different clientele. So there's like, all right, how do I maximize it to where like I see, you know, for an install or for whatever else, they making, you know, it's three figures easy. That's a starting point, right? Compared to, you know, a couple heads here and there or probably like 6 heads here and there or whatever in the same 3 hours. Like, so I can see why it's changed.
We got the era of fraudulence too, like them putting rugs on them people's domes and then like cutting up the rug literally, and I don't mean dancing.
Yeah, but when people put on the prosthesis, when people put on, you know, all that stuff and the wigs and the lace front joints and all that kind of stuff and all the extra stuff they do to make the fraudulence happen, right? That whole system, the LeBron system, if you will, the LeBron in the summer system before he goes to the season. Like, I understand why that stuff's that expensive and like, I understand why, like, okay, that'll be that price. That should be more in line with what, like, the women's, you know, are going for. Right. But when he's doing is like, hey, man, a pair of clippers, disinfectant or the disinfectant spray, and a hairbrush and some scissors or whatever else. I think that's something a little different. But they've added on these add-ons that have now helped them, you know, justify or tack on time was for them, then justifies the price.
Dan said new barbers coming in like Marlo, price of a cut is going up.
Yeah. And that's one thing when it's like, depending on what area of whatever city or whatever else, but like, I'm depending on how you want to take and how familiar you need to get and how much you want to look around, you can still find, you know, a $20 haircut. It's just, you gotta go find it. And you gotta be willing to put with a lot of shit, to go do it. Cause I remember, before I finally came home, I was getting haircuts for about a year, and like, I was going to a barbershop and I was like, you know, I hadn't got haircuts in a while before I would get, you know, lines ups or whatever else. But it was like, wow, the price when I was a kid was like, that's how much a haircut, like getting lined up was the price of what a haircut was.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not just be like $5 or whatever? Really? Yeah. You know, you get whatever. But yeah, man, you know, the good old days. But
you're getting old. You know, like, bro, my stepdad, he loves nothing more than to tell me how much the price of gas used to be.
Oh shit. Right?
Or how much like baked goods used to cost, or milk or whatever else, and I'm just like, yeah, I understand that. It's I get it. Like, I get it.
That's us.
But so I try to avoid that. But now you brought this up, I was like, I'm gonna catch myself like I'm doing the same shit I said I'd never do. But anyway. You are right though. You are right. Like it is. It seems like it has inflated higher than the time than you know, change with the times. Like even more than, I think it's inflated more than compared to like sneakers, right? Like, you know, 20 years ago, a pair of Jordans were 100, 115, 125, right? Then they started being like 150. Now they're 200, 200 plus, then the resale market fucked everything up, right? But like, if you can actually get a hold of them without the resale stuff, these are like $200 shoes. The haircut has jumped higher in over 20 years than the shoes have, if you think about it. So yeah, just food for thought.
That's just interesting. Well, anyway, shout out to Diaz. Yeah, man. So the NBA Finals, Game 2 last night. I was fucking blown, James, because I have a Sling subscription. Usually every game is fine. So I got a unique viewing experience of Game 2. The only thing that was available apparently was the Sky Cam. So I had no commentary the whole time.
Okay.
And it was like this crane camera just the whole game.
Like the NFL, almost like the NFL came.
Yes.
So it's almost like 2K.
Sometimes like when they show like those replays and stuff and you see them like kind of turn the camera almost at an angle, that's what I was watching the whole time. And I was like,
why didn't you go find a stream? When it didn't even feel like it.
Didn't even feel like I was like, I already paid for Sling. I'm gonna watch it on this.
Okay.
And then, but I got none of the storyline of the game with the commentators, none of the whatever was happening.
Okay.
I was just watching it.
Was there anything you were watching? You like picked it up as far as just observing, like, okay, they're doing this or they're doing X, Y, and Z, and that's why Miami's playing better.
I guess the only thing that like that really like stood out to me sometimes was like how badly some shots get missed.
Yeah,
like it was like, hold on, bro, you hit the side of the rim. That shit wasn't even like on point at all. Like,
are we talking about Michael Porter Jr. in this particular case?
Ironically, it was Michael Porter Jr. But yeah,
that was not a good game he had yesterday.
I saw most of the game. Like, I was like, I had to do something during the third quarter, but I looked up and the Heat were ahead, and then I don't know what happened in that second half, pretty much, but. I'm in the Marty McFly zone. I have no idea what's about to happen anymore. I feel like Denver still should walk through them, but why do we keep making this mistake with Miami?
Yeah. Well, in this particular game last night, like Jokic got whatever he wanted, but the trade-off with that was the similar stuff when you hear about, like, when you try to guard LeBron, like if he gets 40, cool, don't let him get 10 assists. And don't let those 10 assists be like 8 3-pointers. So, they shot better than both teams shot better in game 2 from 3 than they did in game 1. But the Heat got so many more threes in the game, and that was a byproduct of Jokic was scoring so much, and it was similar to the game that Jokic had against the Suns in round 2, except like it was 53 points. This was 41, but it was like. He's scoring all these points, but like they're losing the math because the Heat are getting more threes up. And that's when you look at it, it's like not only did the Heat like get more threes up, they shot uncommonly well, right? So like I think they ended up in the fourth quarter, they ended up having 38 points in 19 shots. Right?
Wow.
Very impressive. And that being said, the Nuggets got thrown a 1-3-1 zone where they put Bam at the bottom of the zone instead of in the middle of the 1-3-1, and they put Gabe Vincent in 1-3-1, and I thought that was nasty by Eric Spoelstra because Eric Spoelstra is just trying to bait Jokic into like just turn accidentally bumping and knocking over Gabe Vincent for offensive foul call. But it worked for a little bit. The main thing is that the Nuggets defense was not good enough, and even while that happened, the Nuggets walked them down from like a 13-point lead to get the 3-point lead with the final possession, and ended up with Murray taking a bad shot over the top of Butler. Didn't go in. It missed by a couple inches, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, with all that said, and they shot so well, and they played Kevin Love, and they played bigger. And it got like Aaron Gordon off of Jimmy Butler and got, a more traditional matchup that Jimmy Butler can attack like Murray. They still almost blew that game.
I was gonna say early in the game, like when they started off really hot, I was like, wow, they had all this hot shooting and they're down by 5. Like I was like, and I thought it was gonna be a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, that was in the middle of that 40-14 run, 40-14 run, like. it's impressive that like one is obvious, like you can see just the on-court difference in level of talent, but it's also so fucking impressive that Miami can survive that, come back and win because they play so smart and they aren't going to lay down and roll over for nobody. Like we were talking, Kendrick messaged me like this morning and he was talking about for a short amount of time, and I was like, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be it was going to be a sweep this series, but Miami don't lay down and roll down or lay down or roll over for nobody. You're going to get them. You might beat them for a game, but like you're not going to have them just be like, oh, we're outmanned, we're outmatched, we have no shot. We're just going to play hard for a quarter, and then once they get to the middle of the second quarter, all of a sudden the 10-point lead turns into 15, and then start the second half, and it's an 8-0 run, and next thing you know, it's like 22-point lead, and not saying you're looking like the Suns the last 2 years, right? It ain't none of that. They play hard, they compete, and that's my biggest like level of respect I have for Spoelstra and Riley and Bam and Jimmy is that like no matter what happens, shots go in, shots don't. They get their asses back on defense and they grind it out. They're grinders, all of them, and that's why like I've always respected them and admired them while like not having a team is like regardless of whatever else, they never gonna tank. They always gonna and they're always gonna try to compete. Like, that's what you want out of your franchise, just in general, any franchise you root for, whatever sport, is they going to try their best, and they not going to try to, blow it up or tank or whatever else. They may, pivot, whatever else, but, like, it's never just a complete teardown and rebuild it from top to bottom like that. No, not unless it's forced upon them like when LeBron left.
Right. So going forward, man, I don't know what you do with Jokic, but, like... What are some of the stats that we sent? I saw something like, stuff only Shaq and Wilt were doing.
Shaq, Wilt, and Kareem and Jokic are now the only centers to ever have 40 points and 10 assists in the finals. Jokic is the first non-Lakers center to do it.
Amazing.
I think he's now like third all time in first two most points in their first two finals games behind Iverson and I think Jordan. And I was looking at because he had 41. I was thinking about it like, okay, so that means he's guaranteed at least 4 more games, regardless of whatever else. Like, where could he end up if he keeps playing like this? And like, he has a great chance to end up like top 25 or top 20 as far as most points ever in a single postseason. Mm-hmm. So like, people, Jokic, they're like through 2 games, he's the Finals MVP as top 1-1. There is a very good chance he has the best bet of. I don't think they're gonna lose, but like if they were to lose and he keeps playing like this, he's the Finals MVP even if they fucking lose. And now they'll have a lot of the LeBron fans be like, "What about fucking 2015 or 2018?" I'd be like, "Hey, bro, there was Kevin Durant there, or there was Steph Curry there that got robbed in that MVP thing or whatever else." In this particular case, if Jimmy Butler don't, ball out or whatever else, they're not going to give no Finals MVP to Gabe Vincent. They're not doing that. Yeah. They're not. So, like,
Nigerian basketball legend, Gabe Vincent.
I didn't know he was on Team Nigeria.
Bro, he was on that team that beat USA.
Oh, okay. Okay, I had no idea.
Yep.
I had no idea. That's crazy. Like, does Giannis play for Greece or Nigeria?
Plays for Greece. He probably should play for Nigeria.
I mean, it's his choice. Like Bam, I think isn't Bam Nigerian? I think Bam's Nigerian.
Bam, I believe so.
He plays for Team. He does Team USA stuff, but like I think he has a choice. Like it's about like your grandparents, whatever else, and then like nationality. But yeah, like it's interesting. Like over the years thinking about like Team Nigeria and like how many guys they actually just put in the league. Right? Like we do the same thing like Lithuania over the years too, or Argentina. But like, yeah, man, it's when it's not the USA, it's interesting to see like which team has the most talent. Australia had runs as well. Like it's interesting to see like how they produce talent outside of America. It really is.
That Team USA FIBA team is starting to get picked for next summer. It looks like it's a bunch of youth, and then it don't look like it's going to be something we win. So we will see how that goes.
Are people like Tatum and Booker playing?
I did not see Tatum or Booker listed. Okay. It was like Anthony Edwards and like Austin Reeves and shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's more guys. There's like 5 of them or something that had committed recently. But
okay.
So moving on from the NBA Finals, I guess we'll be back next week with our thoughts on the rest of those games.
Yep.
2 epic matches have been announced for Forbidden Door. A rematch between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the IWGP US title. Will Ospreay defeated Lance Archer in that tournament final, ensuring that he will walk into Forbidden Door to continue what started at Wrestle Kingdom. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. And then a match I don't think anybody saw coming, that just kind of just was like, oh, this is what we're doing this year. So Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. And so whatever Forbidden Door wasn't last year, right? Like we got through last year with all the injuries. We got through the last minute card changes, the whole bunch of tag matches and everything like that. And this year we're getting the real.
Yeah. Now, I just had figured that we were going to get Moxley versus Okada based off of what's been going on in New Japan between Moxley and Okada in these American pay-per-views. But there's time to do that eventually down the line too. And obviously, that still is BCC versus Okada, which leads to possibly the friends that Kenny Omega was or people that he was going to reach out to get back at against BCC eventually.
Can we get another Okada Omega like tag team preview match on Dynamite? Can we do that?
I mean, I'm in. All right. So
like Claudio Wheeler Yuta or something.
Yeah. Now, last year we ended up getting Cesaro filling in for Danielson. There's going to be Danielson versus Sabre. And while that was going to be a great match, like this is a whole different level of match. And this is something I'm far more interested in, quite frankly. No disrespect to Sabre, but like we're talking about arguably two handfuls of greatest wrestlers to ever breathe. So doing this and then like that and then like they're still in their primes, right? And like that still might not be the best match on the show because it's Ospreay and Omega. So like
this is going to be some of the most. I was talking with Josh about this earlier. Between those two matches, there may not be another night in wrestling history that's going to be as competitive as this one. Between those two guys trying to have the best. I know there have been some Wrestle Kingdoms that have had stuff like that. Yeah. There's been some Dominions where, there's like Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee. There's Will Ospreay and Hiromu Takahashi, and then whatever Okada's doing. Ironically, I think whenever like Kenny and Okada are kind of split up, there are some different times too. It's like, all right, Kenny versus Jericho, Okada versus Naito, and then these like pairings that go on. I think this one's is the best split pair that there's ever been, and I'm so excited for this. Like I think it's great, especially with how the TV for Forbidden Door and like the build kind of struggled last year. We're coming out the gate already with like just jaw-dropping matches. But obviously, the match with Ospreay and Omega, which was like the match of the year so far, and like some people say like the match of the decade. And
it is for me. It's a front runner for match of the decade so far. Is there another match from the 2020s that have been better than that you can think of? Maybe like the Hangman Kenny Omega versus Young Bucks match, but that's the only thing that, or maybe even like maybe even the tag match or the tag cage match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. Those are the only three that come to mind for me immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Not to say there's not other matches, obviously, like, like you could say like a couple, like the G1 match between Ospreay and Omega last year or something that's on there. But I'm just saying like
Okada and Ospreay.
Yeah, Okada and Ospreay and Shingo from 2021 or 2020, can't remember which one it was. Like, there's stuff. The the 2020 night one of the G1 between Okada and Ibushi is also up there. But there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of stuff. But like you can throw some Walter Dragunov stuff too. It's just for me like being there. Being there like 150 feet away or 200 feet away watching, I was like, yo, this is incredible. I haven't watched that match back. And I was like, yo, this is incredible. And I had just saw a 5-star match a few days before, like a week before. And I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, like, I'm interested to see what it's going to look like when it's actually like, I can watch the television copy. Not to say that I can't go back and watch that one, but like, it's one thing to be somewhere and experience something. It's nothing to like watch the TV copy of it. And quite frankly, compared to a lot of seats in these buildings, like the TV copy is a better version if you have good camera direction. Yeah,
man, it was a real treat to get up and watch that morning. But for Danielson and Okada, that's just like, it's like, yeah, you always kind of thought about that match. But it's like, well, how would that ever happen? And it's nice to know Tony Khan has the interest, and Gato has the interest in seeing this match as well.
Like for example, right? We were talking about like last year's build and last year's mat cards, and like with no Kenny Omega there, if obviously it was missing something on the table, it still ended up being one of the greatest shows of all time. But it still was like there was still stuff left on the table. It looks like the stuff that was left on the table is being picked the fuck up. Like, no disrespect. Okada in a 4-way with Page and Cole and White and who was the fourth person? Page, Cole, White, and Okada, right?
Okada,
yeah. Like those are 4 great wrestlers. Like it's not the same thing as having Okada in a singles match. Oh, it's same thing when we talk about like, you know, to a lesser degree, but like the same thing we talk about like Utami, right? When she's in tags or trios, whatever else. She's a single specialist. There's something that she has in singles matches that is totally different when she's thrown in the undercard or wherever else in these tag matches. She's a totally different level of wrestler. You can argue the same for sure. She's a little more versatile to make it work for her, right? To get this and to get it against somebody that's that good and to get it against somebody that is like that's wrestle like in that style or whatever else that reminds you of like watching stiff Japanese matches. It's obviously going to work like a glove and a fist. It's going to be awesome. And like it's always one of those dream match things. Like, oh yeah, this is the best wrestler in America. This is the best wrestler in Japan. Well, we're doing in the middle of a fantasy draft right now. This is something that you would have picked. Like if you take your first round pick, if you're lucky enough to get one or the other one in the second round, and like this is my main event right here, boom.
Yeah,
awesome.
Very excited. Us as fans should rejoice over things like this, and I'm telling everyone right now, do not let them steal your joy. You know they're out there. You know they're ready. You know they want to repeat everything they did last year when they talk about who is this, what's the story. Fuck all that. Fuck them. Don't worry about it.
They can't even do it with this one because they're in the middle of a story right now. When you say what's the story between them, you're saying, hey, I don't watch these Japanese guys. That's really what you're saying. Because it's been there. Like BCC in especially Moxley wrestling against Okada, that's been happening all year. Or for a lot of this year. So like you can't even say that. Like you're just saying like I'm ignorant. That's really what you're saying, which obviously is kind of the case in a lot of these situations. But like this one's like there's not even like a once you say that like I'm just gonna like just return serve and just smash it like I'm Serena Williams some shit. Like that's basically what that comes down to.
Yeah, man. But it does bring into question what both champions may be doing on the show. Someone like a CM Punk who will be back by then. Tanahashi last year, Adam Cole,
Page,
Page, Swerve, Orange Cassidy, different guys like, Ishii, where will he be? Shingo,
hey, Hiromu can get in this time.
Hiromu Takahashi, yes. And it's like, I wonder where all the chips are going to fall But wherever they falling underneath them 2 top matches. So I don't, Tetsuya Naito,
like what's Jericho going to do?
Yeah, Jericho.
Look, that's
the young guys in New Japan, your Yota Tsujis and
Shota and Ren Narita, yeah. Especially Umino needs to come back after what happened last year's show. Definitely, he got over so well. He was so good. Yeah, definitely. But I again say is like after last year's show, knowing who was missing, like you said, like think about it. You said you don't know what they're going to do with MJF. You don't know what they're going to do with Sonata, the 2 champions. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. Like, MJF does not show up on the show. Not only do I not care, I'm probably happy that he's not going to be there if he doesn't do it. He just says, I'm not doing that. I worked myself into a shoot by saying all this shit about them or whatever else. I'm done. / I don't want to work these dudes anyway because then I have to actually like wrestle and I don't really want to do that except for like once a month. Whatever. Don't care. Like, this is a celebration of like, like All Japan birthed Noah. New Japan, more than any other promotion, birthed AEW. So, like, them doing this is really fucking cool. And if MJF doesn't partake in it, I do not care. Great wrestler, don't care.
He can keep...
Same for CM Punk. Don't care.
He can keep all the people who he's poisoning with that shit because obviously he's doing a gimmick, right?
Right.
He's like poisoning these people that really feel like that to like bring that negativity onto this show, and we don't need it. We just need the greatness. I don't necessarily need CM Punk here either. Personally.
If you're MJF and those are those are the first 2 matches announced for the show, why the fuck would you want to participate? They give you a singles match and you're not even going to be in the same realm?
Look,
who they gonna give him? Shingo? Shingo's the only person that is that it?
Shingo's that's Shingo Ishii.
He don't want to wrestle Ishii. He thinks, or he'll do the gimmick of like he's but whatever. But like, who could they give him to make it be good enough to make him match up with that? MJF
saying he likes Okan is a great bit. Yes, that's the part that gives it away that he's clearly joking.
Right.
But I've always wanted to see Shingo and Hangman. Well,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we can stack this up with singles, or they can fill this out, with tags or multi-mans, like group stuff.
You think there'll be a trios match with like Hangman and the Young Bucks versus somebody?
Could be.
Yeah.
The only thing is like
LIJ maybe.
There's LIJ.
LIJ and Naito likes the Young Bucks and everything.
So, yeah, man, I'm very, very like happy and look forward to Forbidden Door. But there was some other discourse that was going around, and I didn't comment on it or anything. I'm just kind of like perturbed by it. But maybe you can shed more light on it because you talking the Josie circles a little bit more than I do. Tweet of ours from a silent hand of this show. I believe it was Niagara Driver. He had sent out something. It was like, I think he was just he was basically saying like he's rejoicing in the fact that Stardom has ignored AEW and
he said that for a while now.
And it seems like and that tweet took off, got a lot of traction and all that. Like I wanted to know like what do you think about like this? Like, is this like a more prevalent thing than maybe I think it is, or is it like because I'm kind of looking at it like I personally don't care if Stardom shows up or not.
Same here. Like they have a pay-per-view that day. Like and they had a pay-per-view announced before that shit was ever came out. So it's like it's conflicting schedules, and it's like, do they want to offer talent out? And then like another thing about it is like, do you want to be like TJP where you say, oh yeah, Maki Ito and Mizuki and Shoko and Yuka and Miyu, y'all can all go over there in AEW, and then they fucking get over, and then now Yuka's out the door, and it seems like Miyu and Ito are both gonna follow behind them pretty shortly because it's like you've already done pretty much everything there is to do, and if I haven't, it's because you haven't pushed me when I should have had the belt. In the case of Maki Ito, now I'm gonna go over here to this place where like I'm probably getting paid more. Like you run the risk of getting raided.
Hey, Rossi trying to keep him broke.
Nah. I don't know. What I mean is like, okay, so if you same thing with like all the gaijins or whatever leaving out of New Japan, where it's like, you do this thing with them, they put you on, and then next thing you know, like you're like, hey. Also, another thing is like, it's a lot fucking easier to wrestle in AEW Women's Division is to work Stardom at the top. It's fucking brutal. So it's like. Even for the Toshio Joshi Pro main eventers, like you watched that Yuka and Miyu main event from their last big match from 1-4, and like Yuka gets concussed in like the first like opening like 8 minutes of the match and gets continued through. It's like I'd rather wrestle Jamie Hayter, and she's stiff as fuck, but it's like it's still a different level.
I've always thought that Tokyo Joshi Pro was like a more natural partner for AEW anyway.
Especially because it's already been there since like day one.
Since day one. And it's like people have gone back and forth. People have lost. People have like came over and done their thing and everything like that. So I don't know if this is just like, for example. Yeah. I don't know if this is just like an unnecessary want just from assuming like the New Japan thing means you also get Stardom too.
I think that's what people feel like in that way. And like I see why you will want them there. The problem is like, okay, you bring Shuri over, and she's facing I don't know who like whoever the champion is in AEW is Tony Storm.
Tony Storm.
Now, Tony Storm is probably the most successful gaijin in Stardom history. Rich, do you feel like seeing Shuri put her shoulders on the map for Tony Storm?
I don't.
2023.
I don't really. Well, chances are that would come with some foolishness, like in the way this stands. I don't really want to see Shuri ever putting her shoulders on the mat.
But the reason why I say Shuri is like probably the most protected pro wrestler in the world for like one of the most in the last 4 years. You want to see her go over and lose Tony Storm? Not to say there's anything wrong with losing Tony Storm, but my point is like this woman was the fucking mountain that Tam and Julia had to chase for a year to conquer. Only one of them did. One might do it later this year. Like you want to lose Tony Storm and come back for what?
But at the same time, I understand, like, if Shuri's in a tag match second from the bottom, like, is that really, like, what we clamoring for either? Like, I understand, like, both kind of wants here. Like I said, I don't care if they show up or not. Like, I just want to know why it would be some tragedy. Like, if this were to occur, it seems like, this is this resentment, like this beef that's going on right now. I keep seeing it recurringly, and I'm just like,
amongst who though?
People on Twitter.
No, like who are the people on Twitter exactly? Like, what do you think of these camps on Twitter in this discussion?
Well, I think there's your Stardomer Joshi Twitter user, your AEW.
Does that person actually want to see them in AEW and see them on Forbidden Door?
I think they don't want any parts of AEW whatsoever. What I gather, that's kind
of what I see too. Yeah.
So
I don't care one way or the other.
Right. I'm like, obviously, like, I don't know. I find it strange. If you're somebody that is hearing this and you feel like, nah, man, we don't want to do none of that. Holla at us, like, and come to the Discord, help me understand, are the threats of like your wrestlers being raided, that's real. I understand that. That's a very real thing. We just saw Aussie Open. I mean,
Aussie Open Jay White.
Aussie Open Jay White, and eventually, like, you end up, and Will Ospreay will be very interesting when that time comes.
Yep.
But
Saber probably never. Saber was working Noah a decade ago.
I don't know if it's the same situation for the Stardomers because, like, you know, how many of them would they really, you know, try to sign? I don't think they would try to sign like an assembly line of them. Like, yeah, we're gonna wipe out the entire golden generation. Like, yeah, let's get them all in. Like, no, I don't think there's way less spots. There's way less everything available for the women's wrestlers.
The golden generation wouldn't be what would be on AEW's radar. Not what I think would be on AEW's radar. What would be on AEW's radar would be like Julia, Shuri, Mayu, and maybe probably not even Tam, but maybe Tam if we're fourth person. But probably not even Tam because like you already got the cuteness stuff when you got like Maki Ito there. That already fills a role. In theory. So yeah, like
Dr. Larry brings a good point. AEW would want Kyrie though, for sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot Kyrie. You know, Kyrie's not actually. She's a free agent that works Stardom. She's not actually like officially, in theory, like she's not on the roster page. So I don't even think when I think of Kyrie as like she's a free agent that just works Stardom. But yeah, Kyrie will be number one. For that because obviously she's already been over here. People already know her. Well, actually, number one would be Mercedes. If we're actually talking about it, but like, so like that's another part about it is like. What if Mercedes is a person is like here because like they've already have done the New Japan or not woman like the NJPW Strong title women's title. It was they had the match with Mercedes and Willow. They showed Willow winning. They showed Mercedes on AEW television. They showed clips of her. It seems like she's coming in at some point. It seems like they're dropping hints she's coming in. This could be like that, and once that happens, like everyone, all these conversations will be null and void, and like everybody will shut the fuck up. So who knows?
I think in her case, it's a race to see if her ankle will be healed by then or whatever's like wrong with her, and then she wins it back at the much bigger show from like Willow or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think that would be I think that was the proposed booking, but
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
So Zakapo says Kyrie's married, she's staying home. Yeah, but like she'll take trips and do shots. She has no problem doing that.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Like, and I'm just like, man, there's a lot of vitriol I see. Like once you start getting seeing stuff with 100 and 200 likes and like 30 quote tweets and shit, it's just a war zone. And I'm like, this is interesting. I didn't know this whole thing was as big as it was.
Rich, we've been covering Stardom since 2019, and like when we had these when I send you stuff or whatever else that we don't talk about publicly. There is just a large sect of like gatekeepery stuff going on where like and I find it weird because it's like, you like these wrestlers, but you don't want these wrestlers to like consolidate in one particular promotion, regardless of what promotion it is. You don't want like the scene to consolidate so you can see more high quality matches, potentially grow a gigantic, grow a bigger promotion. And then you also like don't want them to come overseas so they get more recognition and therefore possibly make more money for them, literally throwing their heads at the ground. It's weird.
I mean, I gotta say, I really don't see people complaining about DPW when they're showing up. I don't see people complaining about when people go to GCW or West Coast Pro or anything like that.
Right. But the second is AEW or WWE is well they might get paid a lot of money and then to say, hey, I'd rather work this easier style of my body in coast. They don't motherfuckers coasted apparently. I don't know, man. I don't care. Like it was bad at sometimes when like Kyrie and Io weren't using the best of their abilities or potential given how talented they are. Definitely understand that. No disagreements on that. However, that was their fucking choice. I'm bummed out that Gargano decided to go back to WWE, but like I'm not gonna be like, damn man, it is what it is. He chose to go there. He happy. I'm supposed to be mad at him because he decided to do some shit he wanted to do. It is what it is.
Yeah. I guess the other strategy should be, you don't want to fuck with Star. I guess Kenny should just get on the phone with Takumi Iroha then. Like, I guess they should just start cleaning out the rest of the folks. What was her name? Chihiro Hashimoto?
Yep.
Get her on the line too. How about we try that? Will that make them more mad or less mad than Stardom being integrated with Forbidden Door?
I'm not quite sure. I really don't know how that would go if all of a sudden like Oscar Vinny showed up. Right. I don't know how that would go. Or Arisa Nakajima shows up. I don't know how that would go. I really don't. That's a good question. I don't know how they react. I don't know. But like, either way, it would be people getting somebody will get shat on eventually, whatever else. They'll probably people end up shitting on Stormfloor. How come you didn't bring them in? Because motherfucker, every time we bring someone in, y'all complain about it. What the fuck?
Miyu Yamashita is just rolling around the United States right now.
Yep.
Hanging out with Natty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, a lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, man, I just wanted to bring that up. But moving on, the participants for the G1 Climax were revealed. We're not going to review Dominion. Check out Keepin It Strong Style. I'm sure they're going to do a wonderful Dominion.
Yeah.
I know Josh
heard good things. Can't wait to watch it.
I saw 3 matches from it, and I guess I don't know when I'll talk about them. But
you said at least 2 of them were great, and another one you said it was good as hell except it went short, like you said the Ospreay and Archer match.
Yep. But we got a 32-man field this year, so the G1's just getting bigger and bigger.
You don't have blocks, do we?
I believe we have the 4 quadrants. And here we go. Like we got, I'm gonna go through the list here. We got Kazuchika Okada, Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, David Finlay, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Tomohiro Ishii, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Hikuleo, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Toru Yano once again, Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, Eddie Kingston, El Phantasmo, Ren Narita, Evil, Chase Owens, Jeff Cobb, Great O'Khan, Aaron Hanare, Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Shane Hayes, Mikey Nichols, Yota Tsuji, and Kaito Kiyomiya. So obviously you got 2 imports, and Eddie Kingston and Kaito Kiyomiya.
Yep.
Whatever happens, Eddie Kingston and Taichi have to be in the same block so they can do whatever, all King's Road match they want to do. I need to hear, I need to see, him yelling "Baba" in the New Japan ring. Well, I need to see Eddie saying King's Road is better, and all this other stuff. So,
oh my god.
Kaito Kiyomiya is there. Talking to Zach. He was wondering if how bad Gato was preparing to do him. Would he go 0-8? Like what's the worst? What's gonna happen to Kaito Kiyomiya here? I know I got the dream Okada block. I know everybody's been obsessed with talking about Okada being mad at all these youths and all that. But,
given the year, yeah.
But man, something would be funny about Kaito Kiyomiya, Umino, Yota Tsuji, all these guys all in his block. Like that would be funny.
It would be.
But yeah, I'm looking at it. The format is what the format is. The 4, like, this field keeps expanding over and over. You got to wonder about, Tanahashi's doing another G1.
Yep.
Ishii somehow got in another one this year. There were rumors that last year might have been that was his last one.
Right, but that was based off of the kayfabe like win-loss record. That wasn't based off of the performances. He was still like at the top. He was still probably top 5 in MVP voting.
You got like, Tangaloa and Tama Tonga. I know Tama Tonga is much improved, but Tangaloa is getting a spot. Hikuleo is getting a spot. Of course, Giano's getting a spot.
Yep.
Chase Owens, who's never really going to excite you. Solid guy, but then there's like Shane Hayes, Michael Nichols, like they're eating up spots on all these guys. So like it seems like this is their first G1 back. Non-clap crowd environment. It seems like they're really trying to pack this thing out and rest guys and ensure like those big shows really get it going. But Kaito Kiyomiya, I hope him and Okada have a singles match.
Same. Yeah, definitely. Look,
and Kingston and Taichi. That's kind of what I want to see.
Say again.
Kingston and Taichi.
Yeah. Look, I like, depending on how the blocks are laid out or whatever else, like this could be better than last year's because like there is no, at least from what I can tell, unless I'm missing something, like there are no like there's no like Yujiro, right, fucking up a block. Yano's still there, but there's only one Yano. Like I think Yano and Yujiro were in the same block last year. And it was fucking shit. But like most of these guys can all go, regardless of you might have some issue with Hikuleo depending on, but you can work around it depending on what block you're in. Like if I were them, I put Hikuleo in Okada's block and he could basically treat him like they treated Jonah last year. Mm-hmm. We're big monster, he sells for him, whatever else, and next thing you know, there's a 4 1/4 star match, that kind of thing. But like. I like these people. I like, generally speaking, like I think out of the 32 field of 32, there's only one person that'd be like I don't want to watch them ever. So, or probably two. But yeah, that's I think this is well done. And like obviously, it's more people than last year, but it's also like it gives them to have like a deeper run of against another talented person, as opposed to like, damn, they only got 6 matches, that was it. Nowadays it's 7. So it feels more like wrestlers are able to, you get to spend more time with the wrestlers, whatever else. And it's not like you're getting so many more matches than you did back when it was like the 2 blocks of 20. Like that's 91 matches versus 115, something like that. So like it's not like you're overstaying your welcome. So and wrestlers should quote unquote be fresh. They have one more match unless they're wrestling Yano, then they get a bye in theory, like people say. But like the other 3 blocks don't, which is like, well, what is the point?
Should be 4 of them then, like four of that style.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the block. I like it. Look, I'm not going to pretend like I saw that, like I didn't see the list of 18 that's starting to put out for what their 2 blocks are going to be, and then what the 2 open spots, and feel like, yeah, I think the Grand Prix is going to get them for the 3rd straight year, but I think that like we're going to have 2 kick-ass, round robin tournaments this summer.
Maybe 3 with N1,
Right.
But
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll have Zach tell us about it. So fly the green flag.
Oh man.
But yeah, man. Moving forward, AEW Dynamite. A show that felt like a return to form.
A show that saved the promotion?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I like, don't you look, even though like we're about, as you mentioned, this was last week, that was Double or Nothing 5. Like they have one bad show and it feels like it could be the end of the promotion after one bad fucking show. So it's like, I'm glad that they were able to stave off,
once again,
the closing of the doors again for like, I don't know, like the 50th time in the last 5 years now at this point. So yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, this was an awesome show. This one felt like, I was like, yes, this is the real AEW, that was going on here. We opened up, we had John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta take on the Lucha Brothers and Bandito. Off the rip, Bandito's outfit was a tribute to something that has to do with Mexican wrestlers, something like that. I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, that's interesting.
I didn't care. I saw, he's wearing some all red bodysuit. Okay, whatever.
Look, it was a strange choice for me. I'm like, why would you want to cover Bandito and those guns up? But whatever. But yeah, this was excellent. This was like, this feels like, this is what's going to be on Wednesdays. I don't think you're going to see this match on Saturdays. Just from the way things look like they're going to break down. It's looking like real old styles over there going on, and this is like, the real shit.
I see you've already entrenched yourself into the there's only one AEW weekly episodic show. I see you're already on that one.
Man, it's gonna be a struggle to get me on Saturday nights. I'm telling you.
Interesting.
It's gonna be a struggle. Sunday morning viewing might be where it's at. That might be nice and relaxed. Wake up, from whatever I had going on the night before.
I can't wait till like week 3 of it and you already quit that shit and I can already hear your response. Shit, I already told you, like, look, I'm gonna be watching WWE. I know how you get down, Rich. You ain't slick.
Hold on, man. Niggas trying to make me watch WWE on weekends? What?
I already see the rhetorical tricks you got plotted in your brain. I already see it. I see it. We don't even know what the show's gonna be like. We already be like, yeah, CM Punk's on that show. Fuck that side.
Tony watch Collision with the Sky View.
And Rich, Tony Khan already saw that you was ready to quit on that shit. That's why he threatened you with it. All right, you say you ain't gonna watch it. I'll pick Chris Jericho on this bitch and make you watch it. Nasty, real nasty.
I saw. Also, speaking of Chris Jericho, he was front and center on the announcement of the advertising for Dynamite in Tampa. So maybe Jericho's not on that show. And 2, I move, and then they finally booked Tampa.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I've been for years. I've been figuring
wild conspiracies. Yeah.
They're
locked out. They're locked.
Look, did it not feel like?
Ain't no other way. Ain't no other explanation for this,
bro. What else would it have been?
They was waiting for your ass to leave.
All right,
that's what your ass get. Yeah,
maybe so.
Wait for the Luth. So. Wait till they come to Cody Country.
Maybe so. It's gonna be dead in a bitch in there. Like, they better not bring no Collision here. I will not show up. Look, I will go. Look, in that case, somehow Swerve, but I will go see Swerve. Like, I will go backstage, see Swerve, and I will leave.
Nasty.
But yeah, this match was excellent.
Yeah.
At least 4 stars.
Great match. Great match.
But yeah, so I was, I was like, Wednesdays, right here. In the flesh. Hot crowd too. They were in San Diego.
Yes.
They were awesome.
Yeah. I could not remember if that
James,
was
they mic'd that show. They mic'd that one right. They got the mic right.
Yeah, we had mentioned that in the things like, they happen, they've been in LA, they've been in Las Vegas like 4 or 5 times now, but this time they fucked it up. But like, they go to San Diego for what I think is the first time ever being in San Diego, and what do you know? They knew how to mic it that time. It's amazing. And like, you can see them, and like, they looked excited when we saw them on camera, as opposed to the Vegas show. It's amazing how that works.
So after that, we got an interview with Marvez. He's back there with the Young Bucks and Hangman. They're asking about how they felt about anarchy in the arena. Matt Jackson said the BCC brought the worst in them. He never thought that he'd, see the day where he tried to burn off someone's face with an exploding sneaker. And he had the shoe with him and all that. Hangman said, they're still standing, we're still swinging, while the BCC relies on a numbers game. All of a sudden, a Dark Order waltzes in, and the energy starts feeling like confrontational, adversarial. Basically, Uno and Silver said, you with your new friends and your new homeboys and all this stuff. So it feels like there's a Dark Order turn being teased here.
Look,
I think they could use that.
I like it because I find it fucking hilarious, right? Like, how do I explain this? Okay, so Dark Order, like one time got a desperate phone call from somebody when they were at their lowest point, and they thought, I got a chance. And that then turned into like, we ain't official, but I'll hang out with you. And then Hangman is now back with that old thing, and like Dark Order is like, you gonna pretend like this never happened? Oh, okay, all right. And it's just interesting to see how that goes. They just like, they still
like I've seen these dynamics somewhere.
You need to move on, brother. You need to move on, all of y'all. I think it'd be best for the family for y'all to move on from Hangman Page. All it's gonna do is continue to meet more hurt in your life. Just move on, bro.
Oh man, Brewhaven, I need Dark Order to perform Marvin's Room on BT. Jesus,
shit.
No, we don't.
No, we hate that fucking song. Yeah, that is Marvin's. That definitely up that Marvin's Room corner. Yeah, man. Definitely there.
So
it's definitely Drake-ish. Definitely Drake-ish.
Yeah. Drake is definitely rooting for the Dark Order in this scenario.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy how many times times Drake has fell in love with these women that he's not had relationships with. It's amazing how that works. Like, how do you fall in love with all of them, but you're also a womanizer at the same time? You don't have the self-awareness to realize that, like, you are doing to them what they have done to you, and like, it's a cycle on both ways. It is, I guess not.
No.
But people love them songs, bro, don't they? They love them songs.
Love them. Marvez had asked Page's thoughts on Kenny Omega going back to Canada. He said, Kenny's not here, but he's not in Canada. Like, and the assumption was, that he had gone to Japan to get some backup. Right. Or, a lot of people thought he was going to make an appearance at Dominion or something. I don't believe that ended up happening. But as far as that, it's like Ibushi, maybe Okada, we'll see.
Right. We'll see. And that was fine. But, like, they wouldn't do this, but this was someone else. Like, you'd be like, is this a shot at, like, internet wrestling reporting that, like, they said he's out the country but got the country wrong, and say, oh, he's in Canada? Like, is that like a thing or whatever else? Like, if this wasn't them, you'd be looking like, oh, is this like some what do you call it, QTV, whatever that shit that was that QT March was doing a few weeks ago or a month ago? Yeah, the scoops.
So after that, we had Tony Schiavone. He introduced Switchblade, Jay White, and Juice Robinson and James. They were excited to hear the Switchblade talk. All the people I was seeing on Twitter, and they got a grand total of like 25 seconds and all that. So, after that, Juice was in the ring, of course, with him. And, he asked about the attack of Ricky Starks at Double or Nothing. James, you had a team name that I think you should share with the people for Jay White and Juice Robinson. If you see it anywhere else, James had it first.
I don't remember for the life of me. I don't even remember I said anything.
Team Juicy J.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Team Juicy J. Yes. I forgot I had said that shit. I didn't think it was Team Juicy. It was just they're Juicy J, but like the J is spelled Jay. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Basically, White was saying that he bet Starks feels on top of the world, but he's not the international champion, and he lost to me. And all of a sudden, Juice had brought up FTR saving Starks from their attack. FTR and Starks friends because Ricky Starks has no friends. I popped kind of at that. White basically started running down FTR, and then FTR came out. Robinson and White kind of stood behind Schiavone. FTR said they were going to apologize, or they said, we know FTR, you're here to apologize to us, and you can also, join Bullet Club Gold and come work for us. and call them, top shelf, top guys and all that stuff. And, White was going to hand the microphone to Dax, but before he could speak, Juice Robinson gives us an all-time giftable moment, which I immediately downloaded. He did a favor for us that have had to watch Dax Harwood online for the last 8 months. He stole this man with the rolled up quarters.
Socked him in his mouth.
Yes, dropped him. Hilarious. And then, it was on from there.
And the quarters fell out in a way that's reminiscent of like when someone hits Sonic and the rings fall out. Like,
yes,
it was great. It was great. Like, I think it's the best thing that Juice Robinson has done in pro wrestling since the pandemic. Because the only other thing I think of is when he showed up in the Blues Brothers joint at the 2020 G1 and he started clicking his or doing the shit on the ropes or whatever else. But that's about it.
You still got to explain that one to me.
I'm not saying that was good. I was saying that's the best thing he's done since the pandemic. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't like the haircut, like with the hat and then just the stash, like the handlebar joint. You wasn't fucking with that.
I forgot when he was out there looking like a cop. I forgot about that.
That made him look like a YMCA member. Yes.
Yeah.
But they had a Blade Runner, or he gave Cash to Blade Runner. Then Ricky starts chasing him off. Was yelling up in the crowd, challenged White for next week, and they're going to put an end to it. So after that, we got Tony Khan's Collision announcement. He's backstage. He said it was about a 40-second video. He said the debut of Collision will feature CM Punk.
Nah, you ain't do it right. He said it will feature pause. CM Punk. Yay, boo! Yay, boo! Look. I'm glad it's back, baby. Injected into my veins. You got, much like we talked about with Rich as far as saying, I'm not watching that Saturday show. You had half that crowd happy Punk was back and half that crowd saying, fuck him. It was great.
It was some bass.
It was great.
It was some bass. You know how they said the low sound travels, like that bass, that boo, was resonating.
It was great. That sound, I was like, look, man, I wonder how he's going to turn this to some type of Cena thing where, he's a good guy to some people, he's a bad guy to others, but, he knows now, what he's up against, or he's known for a while, but now he definitely knows, and, I'm interested to see how he works this into what he does, because, I don't
even think Chicago's going to be just this 100% lay down city.
Oh, he's definitely getting 25% booze or some shit like that in Chicago, even Chicago, which lets you know when he goes to all them Canadian shows or whatever else throughout in weeks 2, 3, and 4, whatever else, he's going to get them 50-50 reactions wherever he go. But regardless, he's still over and has heat, good or bad. He definitely has it, and it's up to him in his brilliance to make this shit work. And I'm interested to see how it works because the guy's fucking brilliant. So, regardless of the part where he's, cancerous or whatever else, when he goes in front of that fucking camera for pro wrestling, he's great. And he's always been great. So, I'm interested to see what it's going to be, who he feuds with, all that kind of stuff. And, I'm just interested to see what he comes up with. I really am. And I think ultimately, whenever, when we get these pay-per-views, CM Punk back, I feel like these pay-per-views are going to have more lift to them. Because you're gonna have Kenny Omega, because we haven't had it for a long time, but we're gonna have Kenny Omega, knock on wood, healthy. We're gonna have the Young Bucks not suspended, CM Punk not suspended, and we're gonna see what this shit finally was gonna be able to look like. With also Adam Cole here, we never got to see AEW at full capacity because people were either hurt or people got fucking suspended or whatever else. This is the first time it seems like we're ever going to get that, and I'm anxious to see how this goes now because that pay-per-view. It had hits and misses all over, but they came right back and said, fuck that. Don't forget who we are because of one show out of 10. So now with Punk back, I'm really interested to see when you get the MJF part of the show, the CM Punk part of the show for these pay-per-views, the elite parts or whatever else, the BCC parts. I think they're going to be kicking all kinds of ass and and Jericho gives you all kind of variety of the type of wrestling you want, whether it's the super duper wrestling, or it's the storytelling driven stuff, or it's the 2000s indie stuff, or it's the war bag from Jericho, or WWE bag from Jericho, whatever version he wants to dip in from his past eras. Like, I feel like varieties is the spice of life of wrestling, and like is now back now that we have the full, what do you call it? The full
and like the tag team division that's set for a revamp with like Aussie Open and now Juice Robinson, Jay White getting in there, and hopefully FTR can beat the washed allegations.
So like I feel like,
or at least Jax, excuse me, not FTR.
I feel like we're gearing up again. We'll see how it goes, but I feel like we are.
Big summer to come.
Artillery was the word I was stumbling to try to get to earlier. I just stuck on it, couldn't find it.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see how it goes. Look, set the timer, because I don't know when the implosion is coming, but it always does. Up next, 3-way match between Swerve Strickland, Big Bill, and Trent Beretta. This was also awesome. This was like,
very good.
I looked at this on paper and I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like. I was like, I like all three guys. I'm an irrational Big Bill guy. Like I find
very
him
irrational.
I find him entertaining, and I find his name great, and I feel like he's our Psycho Sid. Like
he's Sid.
He's our Sid. He's jacked. He's wearing the jeans.
He's not nearly as charismatic as Sid was. You got to stop this, man. Sid was some 10 out of 10 shit. But yeah, man. I saw this match and I saw it and I was like, okay, so this is like the last three or three of the last four from the Battle Royal from pay-per-view. Let's see what they do. And like I thought it was fun, and I originally came into it, I was like, all right, how was Swerve and Trent gonna quote unquote carry Big Bill? And like it was right to a T. Like it did everything that it did, more than I thought it would do, but like a lot of things I thought they were gonna do with it, it worked out. I really enjoyed the match, and like there's another example of people like Swerve and people like Trent showing their worth on his roster when people were like, why, especially someone like Trent, like, all he does is come out and lose. Yeah, he comes out and lose in good matches to get other people over. What part don't you get about this? This is like when you have him and you had Kazarian, like, that's their role. Go out there and lose and make the other guy look great because you got to get the other stars over. We know he's good. We know he's very damn good. It's just not for him. And like, that's the reason why, like, I like the wins and losses mattering, and like people are slotted or whatever else, so you can see trajectories for like this person might be getting a little mini push to a certain spot higher, he might go back down, and like the cycling up and down the card. Yeah, but like Swerve, this was just like a lot of hard wrestling in this match. I feel like Tony Khan trusts the hell out of Swerve. Outside of Cole, I can see that. Outside of Cole, is there any other like mostly NXT that you think of that's in AEW now that he trusts more than Swerve? I think Cole's the only one.
I feel like he's given him like obviously the tag team thing last year.
Yep.
Gave him a unit. Like they're obviously investing in him. There's a lot of stuff in the summer coming, like the Nick Wayne matches on deck. I think there's a lot to be linked with that match. This Orange Cassidy, like, we'll get to it later, but they set up Swerve versus Orange Cassidy for the international belt this coming week. I think a lot of people are smelling title change. Kyle O'Reilly's a good one. Black Sabre Jr. mentioned.
Yeah, it is.
But I think a lot of people are smelling title change, and I think they're right.
Same.
I think it's the time. Like Swerve is kind of he's rededicated himself to his fitness. Like his body's like he's can't come out here with the extra muscle, and a lot of people are taking notice of that. Obviously, he had a great performance in the Battle Royal to kind of set this thing up. If they went away from him from here, like with the Orange Cassidy match, I would be surprised. I'd be like, you kind of set up the silver plate. You just gotta let him walk through the door now. But yeah, as far as this 3-way though, like there's a lot of hard wrestling like that I was really a big fan of, and I was like, this company was built on matches like these. Let's get it fucking popping. Like that, like I was very excited watching this. And this was all three guys I thought worked real hard, and it was awesome. So from there, we got a video package with Chris Statlander, her road to recovery. I believe there's a longer version on YouTube. That was pretty great. People have been talking about it. They showed her winning the TBS title, Double or Nothing. They mentioned she had a match tonight with, or that night with Nyla Rose.
Yeah. Okay. So, Rich, can you direct yourself to the chat? So like Brandy's teasing a debut.
A debut where? Gucci who?
Remember when Cody signed, they did not sign Brandy. They only signed Cody. So you know, I don't know. I don't know.
Let's
man.
see it. Let's see it. Who told us it was open mic night? Let's get her calling herself, telling her she's not a black belt. She is something else instead. Let's get it going. We had to suffer that, James. Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they have to get the Brandy experience? Look, they'll go up for it. Look, they'll come out here and they say everything is great anyway in WWE. So this will just be one more thing to lie about. So, yeah, Brewhaven, put that shit on. Yes, put that shit on. Yes.
I'm enjoying my wrestling journey right now, even though I'm not watching much because of the NBA right now. And when the finals are over, I'll get back to it in full force in the way that I used to. I don't want Brandy on nobody's wrestling. Even the wrestling I don't watch, I don't want her there.
No Brandy?
Yeah. Like, and I'm probably, and I look, I say that and I know I'm being
great promo.
That's true. Rich, I know I'm being completely unfair and uncalled for, and there's plenty of motherfuckers that are awful as well, or sorry as well, that like,
y'all and Anderson catching checks and still.
Well, I was saying, let me finish. Like, there are plenty of people that like, I don't give a fuck about wrestling. They over or somewhere else wrestling and they getting checks and like they over there and I ain't gotta watch them. That's fine. Brandy did some of the most offensive things. That it was like, yo, this person is problematic, and I don't even mean like problematic like, oh my god, like I mean problematic like this person like isn't even aware of the damage they're doing.
We gotta explain you.
So yeah, yeah, send them out.
Oh, Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay will address Forbidden Door at a special press conference, 6 p.m., 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I guess by the time we all wake up tomorrow, there will be some shit talk, I imagine. So let's get it popping. So after that, Renee went and welcomed the Acclaim and Daddy Ass to the entrance stage. They basically said things didn't go their way at Double or Nothing. They lost the trios match, but Billy Gunn said he felt like he let the team down. Caster said they win together, they lose together. We're still the people's choice. These guys are getting great reactions here also too. Bowen said a couple months ago they were screwed out of tag team gold, and he said Billy Gunn deserves to hold the gold one more time in his career. So it looks like their goal is to win the trios titles.
Now, when they say they were screwed out of tag titles, was I supposed to think of like the Guns, or was I supposed to think of FTR and their little play?
Boy, I was thinking about both.
I was literally thinking about just FTR. I was like, but that's unfair. They're like, is this a double entendre? Like, what are they doing? I was like, I wonder what they mean by this. But yeah, good to see them get the mic time, even though they lost. And I'm interested to see like how they get their bounce back coming off of this.
Yeah, man. But after that, we got one of the best segments in pro wrestling history.
Yeah.
This was an all-time heat segment, booing, crowd revolting. This was Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita explaining their actions. And for those of you that didn't see Don's extended interview with Jim Ross, if you like you saw what this was, that was like a more laid out version. It was like, all right, Don, can you do what you did in 12 minutes and 3 in front of a molten crowd? He was like, yeah, I got that. Like, so Don comes out there. They don't even want to let him talk. He's in showered and booze. Takesha's wearing Don's jacket. Don like used to wear that shit to the show, so this shit is real nasty. Like this shit is nasty as fuck. So Shivani's out there. He's sickened to announce Callis and Takeshita. They don't have interest music. That old they got that old Tommaso Ciampa theme song.
Interesting that you brought up Tommaso Ciampa because that was the first thing I was thinking of when he got booed. Like this was like, bro, like at the night on Raw after WrestleMania 33 when Roman beat and seemingly retired Undertaker, and Tommaso Ciampa returning after he turned from ACL tear. Like, that was the level of heat that Don Callis was getting. It was fucking awesome. They were like, "We don't care. Fuck you. Get off our screen. Get out of our sight. We hate your guts." Just you know that look the emoji. This beautiful.
Callis says, "I hope those boos are for Kenny Omega," and then like the crowd
louder.
Another level.
Working the crowd.
He's so great. Like I was watching this because like, yo, he's the best. He said Callis said he's the real victim here. What? he's shouting over the crowd. He's you know, just jumping in and out, looking at Takeshita. Takesha's like, you know, egging this shit on. He runs down all Kenny's accomplishments. He's like, IWGP champion, me! Like all this, AEW champion, me! Impact champion, me! Like, just all this shit. And he blamed the scar on his head. You know, every day he has to wake up. He thinks about Kenny. He said, you know, while I might have lost a nephew, I gained a son in Takeshita who's better than Ricky Dozan, better than Inoki, better than Maeda, better than Muto, and better than Okada. There was a long pause before he said better than Okada. So it was like, all right, man. Like once I heard Ricky Dozan and Inoki, I was fucking screaming. I started tagging Josh immediately.
Yeah, because it was like his same shit when he talked about Gotch and Hackenschmidt and all that bullshit, except now it's Japanese wrestler. So I was like, oh, here you come with this bullshit.
No. Better than Muto. So he says soon Takeshita will show that he's also better than Kenny Omega. He's the greatest athlete that has ever stepped in a ring. He's decathlete, all this other stuff. And then Takeshita took the mic, and I love this. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, will rile up a booing crowd by speaking a foreign language to them. You know, that's right. The good old racism. He basically starts speaking Japanese, and he says he's going to destroy the Elite and Kenny Omega and all that, and, you know, just yelling at him, essentially in Japanese. Callis said that Kenny destroyed his family, so he's going to build a new one to eliminate the Elite from all Elite wrestling. Nuclear heat. Hey, just go out of your way to see this if you didn't see this.
So, like, once he said that, like, I was like, is he finna link up with CM Punk?
Look, I did not for 1 second think that.
No, fuck that. That's great. No, look, the what do you call it? The Alliance to Destroy the Elite. Like, look, CM Punk, BCC, Callis, put them all together. Just put it all together. We finna stomp these niggas out. Crush them.
Nah. The league gonna have to whoop that ass.
Ace Steel. Bring some Ace Steel on there.
Yeah, Ace Steel, who somehow is like, I don't even want to get into that. But man. Yeah. So I'm interested to see who's really gonna be in this family. Who knows? It could be Don Callis talking shit. Yeah. But like Takeshita's like good enough to spearhead this shit. But
definitely.
I thought this was excellent, and I think it shows the love that's out there for Kenny. And then Callis, this is like Hogan versus Bobby Heenan, damn near. This is like, yeah, like, bro, they can keep this shit going forever. Like with like, all right, like. Don Callis now can just try to make Kenny's life a living hell, right? And Kenny can just beat every single person that he lines up for him or whatever, and it just keeps going forever. And he doesn't even have to be near the title or anything. He just keep doing this shit, and it just has the same amount of. It will have the same amount of heat for however long it goes, essentially.
Yeah, like in a similar way, like 2013 when Heyman turned on Punk, and it was like Lesnar, then it turned into Ryback, then it turned into whoever else, and then Punk got hurt. But it was like, that was kind of the plan. And it was, when that happened, like, that shit was incredible too. So it's like, look, it works. The common threads of wrestling, like, you could do the basic stuff over and over and over, and it will always work. You don't have to try to reinvent new ways to tell these stories. You don't.
Yeah. I remember when they first linked up, I was like, yeah, man, they're going to use Callis to basically launch Kenny one day, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Rich, I was saying that, 2018? I was like, man, he's going to, like, back then I was like, bro, he's going to turn him eventually. It's going to be great. And, like, because I fucking hate Callis and his dick riding or whatever else. He could dick ride someone else and Kenny kick V-trigger that man's head off. I've been waiting 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I've waited 5 years. I've been waiting 5 years for this man to V-trigger this man's face off. I can't wait. Let's get it.
As much as I hate to see family falling apart, y'all know what side I'm on, so
blast this man. The full on
really?
Grand Slam running V-trigger. Send that man sliding down the LED ramp.
Really, Don just think he me. He think he's me all these years. So really, that just that opened up a spot for me. To go ahead and assume the mantle. Of promoting the Kenny Omega agenda. Now that's all this is.
Now when I clip this up for the best of, this is where I will insert like the picture of you next to Kenny making that face. Now put that there, hold that in place, and then we can flash back to the festivities. But yeah, definitely.
But from there, I don't even know how we continue with this, but that segment was so fucking awesome.
It was great. The reason why it's great is because of how that crowd reacted. That's what the future holds for them as far as how they have the crowd in their hands, as far as what they're going to do in the future. As long as you keep it on the road, it's going to be great.
Yeah. So we got a highlight video of the TNT ladder match. Warlow talked about biting the lizard man's thumb, and Warlow said Luchasaurus better not get involved in the business, but he'll finish the job if Luchasaurus wants it. After that, we got another good fucking match. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on Gates of Agony. That's Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. Swerve was sitting ringside with Brian Cage to watch this, but this was like, two big guys that would sell and do work, and fighting Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, who are like mega over baby faces that will do whatever you want in the ring. And they had Darby especially had these guys looking like killers.
Yeah. So in ROH when they were the trios champions with Cage. Like, when they destroyed, and they had that pre-show match on one of the pay-per-views when they beat the hell out of Blake Christian and two other geeks. Look, man, like, those guys are, you have, Legion of Doom, the Steiners, a tag team of big motherfuckers that will fuck you, Hamika and Hameka. Like, a team of two badass that will kick people's asses is fun to watch. And they destroyed two of the best bumpers and sellers in the game. And, like, that was the best I ever saw, like, Toa and Khan look when people are out there selling that are over, like, super over. And, like, it was very compelling. And, like, in different circumstances without those two, like, coming off of, or one being champion and another one seems like they're being tracked for a singles title shot down the line or to get a big win over the current champion down the line. Like, you could have had them get a win right there, and then had a couple months done a rematch and seen like that unlike or rare tag team get back together and had them overcome them. That was fun as hell. In a way,
more of that hard wrestling.
Sorry.
More of the hard wrestling that was like displayed like in the triple threat match or the three-way match. Excuse me. I wouldn't want Joe Lanza to hear me mess up and say triple threat while talking about AEW. Sorry.
Oh God. Yeah, in a way, it reminded me of back in There was a Dynamite show that had Hangman versus either Archer. It wasn't Archer. It was Wardlow. It was Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of, it was like the tag version of that match. Just fun.
Okay.
Big dude big heel beating the fuck out of a smaller dude. Smaller dude overcomes and wrestles their ass off and overcomes in a really fun match. Yeah. It reminded me of that, except the tag version.
Yeah, this was awesome. Darby ended up getting a coffin drop for the win. But after the match, Cage, Nana, and Swerve walked to the ring. They were going to attack, and then Sting's music hit, and that shit rang out like Omar was coming. Like, and I was like, I don't know if this is a hot take. I think this is the best theme music Sting's ever had at this point. Like, I think it's better than WCW music.
Nah, the
organ,
it's good.
It's way good. Better produced. Like that shit from WCW don't even sound like it's mastered. Like this shit is like. I think that you are not like taking into account the errors make things sound different in the time when it came out. Like, but whatever, it's cool. Or not cool, like, it's fun. But the Sting shit, like, I mean, that's some shit you can play in a marching band. Or whatever else. But whatever. But still good. What I will say is I didn't think about this until he came out and I got the pop and I was like, is this him popping for a Southern California guy? Maybe.
Because, like, the way the crowd went nuts for, I was like, is this because of the, I wonder. But yeah, Sting, who knows how many more pops he gets like this. I don't know. Like, they've been trying to seem like they're trying to figure out how they're going to do a retirement tour / send off for him. And we're not really clear on what it's looking like, but like you see that it's apparently like it's in the air. He's on his way out. So like it's cool. That was really cool.
Yep. Swerve stares down the international title. They booked that match for next week. I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. So don't be surprised if this isn't the last time you see Sting around and Nick Wayne and with that whole thing. Like, it just seems like there's a lot of sliding doors that are all set to like fall in place.
Didn't you halfway suggest they should do Sting versus Swerve?
Oh yes, I would love to see it.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I don't remember did Rich say that? Okay,
I would love to see it. After that, we got a MJF highlight video, bro. All this shit was going on this show before this. I was like, man, world champ, where's the world champ? Like, and I was like, yeah, this whole like show was just going off, and it was like,
you know where he's at, like home. Before he went home, he left us off with a segment where he talked.
Yo,
so he had to get on there to talk. Good for him.
He told us he defended the title successfully, and the clock is ticking. AEW's running out of competition. They're running out of gladiators for MJF to slay, and he's made it clear that no one's on the level of the devil. So I kind of like that line.
People have been speculating more and more as he does the tease of the 2024 stuff that he re-signed, and
yeah, I think he's re-signed already, but.
Are people going to roll their eyes as he does it more and more, as more and more people are speculating that he's already re-signed, and he's going to try to do a fake Summer of Punk thing?
I think he's such a good talker, and the thing about MJF is he makes the world's dumbest people believe, and a lot of the smart ones too. Like,
okay, never mind.
Yeah,
until you said that some of the smart people too, I was like you said he said some of the dumb people, I was like, oh, so like FTR, but then you said and some smart people, never mind.
Yeah, like he's someone like he's gonna be doing this whole thing and riling people up and making them think like, he's really out of here and all this stuff. It's always been my thought that he's going to eventually like turn babyface by announcing he's re-signed, but he's already been signed for a long time. You know what this shit is? Like, this man like
it's like a rom-com where like the person's already like, it was a scam, but like actually fell in love eventually, and then the person finds out, and like the point where like the third act where like, damn, the person found out the truth before you could tell it or whatever else. Now he caught, and it's like, yeah, it's one of them. Is that what you want to say, or are you gonna say something different?
No, like I was gonna say, it was like that man's an industry plant. Like, you know, like, like, nah, bro, like this shit is already like it was written. Like Nas said, but yeah, he's gonna do this whole thing, and you know, whatever. We'll be here. So after that, Shivani introduced Hook. Shivani talked about Hook helping the Hardys win on Sundays and give Matt Hardy the contract at Ethan Page. Yes, I love this storyline. I hope it never ends. I hope we're always talking about somebody's contract and other people get looped in. I just want it to exist at the at the prelim level of AEW, just because, like forever. Like, like Matt Hardy's contract will turn into someone else's contract.
Oh my god!
But before Hook was going to talk, LaFaction Ingranable came out. Jose, the assistant, he was pissed and looking jacked, by the way. He said Roosh is too dangerous to be on TV. He's not here tonight. But Preston Vance and Drew Listico, he said they here, they gonna whoop you. So they went out there and attacked Hook. And then all of a sudden, Jungle Boy came out, made the save, had the chair, took out both Vance and Drew Listico, set up a Texas Tornado match for them next week with these two teams. Jungle Hook reunited. There was a split second where it was like, hey, is Jungle Boy about to hit Hook with this shit? Like, and you know, I'm not the only person that was thinking this.
So, the tag team is very good for both of them, but especially for Hook, because I felt like Hook has been dead in the water for a while without, you know, him doing his, you know, undefeated thing or whatever else, and he's not actually like wrestling anybody of consequence really, and he's not really in a program with anybody of consequence either. He's just kind of just there floating as like we pop because, you know, he's Taz's kid and he does a lot of Taz stuff and he's a young guy. Like, it was like, what is the next thing? So, like, I'm glad that we're now, that, you know, after they teased it a while back, that now they can finally move them there. And, like, Jungle Boy, even though he's overqualified for the tag stuff, similar to the Guevara last year, where it was like, all right, we're going to give you a shot. And then it's like, it didn't work out like we had hoped. Let's put you back in a more familiar spot. So yeah, Jungle Hook should be another great tag team in this reforming division that's like happening, you know, before our eyes. Yeah. So like with that core you mentioned, Jungle Hook, Juicy J, FTR, Aussie Open. Who else am I forgetting? Right
Eventually,
now?
The Bucks will get back in it.
Yeah,
whenever
the Bucks, like
BCC thing wraps up. But
yeah, so. With some of these more natural tag teams back, the Acclaim still around.
Bros.
Yeah. So, like, with this new, like, seems like a core of tag teams back, like, let's get to it, FTR. Let's see it.
Santana due to come back any day. He was, you know, saying he's healed from the ACL. So, who knows? Maybe PMP gets back together. So,
yeah. Hope so.
But after that, we had an interview with Renee.
Look, when they come back, first match, they should get the belts. Why? Because the Guns want them. If that is the bar, we have cleared that years ago.
So, Storm said Luck had nothing to do with her winning the belt. She's traveled all over the world to get to this point. Ruby Soho then praised Tony Storm's work ethic. Saraya did the same. Tony said the only ones, you know, who are lucky are the AEW fans. So yeah, definitely Luck had nothing to do with it. Y'all cheated in the whole fucking match. The fuck? Yeah. Who was doubting that it was Luck? People were saying that you cheated. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever, man. We'll move on. Yeah. Chris Statlander took on... Actually, no, before we move on. Now that, you know, Jamie is not no longer the champion, she better be at all them goddamn TVs. Why? Because I thought that the reason why that whole clique didn't like Thunder Rose because she was hurt and not off TV and not at the TVs, right? Or that did not count? Well, she dropped the belt. Huh? She dropped the belt. I thought that they were still mad at her even though she had already dropped the belt. Or the belt was already off of her. I don't think that was the case. I think
I could have sworn I heard Tony Storm after the belt was already handed back to the company was saying, "Where are you? Why are you not on TV? Why are you not at the TVs?" I thought that was happening. I could have swore I saw those on like the first 2 episodes of the show.
Nah, the whole thing at the beginning was, I can tell you, it was like later in the season they did the announcement they were stripping her. So at that time she was still the champion.
Okay.
So they were like, "Why are you not here?" And you're like climbing the Golden Gate Bridge and shit. And I don't know. But
either way, you understand it's a dumb premise. I can't wrestle, therefore I'm not going to be there because there's no need to be. This isn't WWE. This is AEW. Like, I have the belt. I can hand it in. You can strip me out. Who gives a shit? But then again, actually, they care because they're marks. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot. My bad.
Yeah. Can't, like, so Jamie Hayter has a gut out a pay-per-view match. And, you know, bad back again. Another back injury strikes. And,
yeah. They're happy that, like, she decided to continue to wrestle injured so that she could have a subpar short little match and then, like, hand it off. That's fucking stupid. Strip her of the belt and then make a new champion.
Can't do that. You know, can't have interim champions. You know, people think they're not real champions and shit. So,
who?
Look, fans, wrestlers.
There are no real champions. It's all fake. They were all put over. The real champions and interim champions were all put over. Nobody shot. Nobody, ripped knees, concussed people, and dropped them to go get these things.
So, yeah, you know, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. You know,
who would be the AEW shoot champion?
Of the women's division?
Nah, in general. Who would be the champion?
The AEW shoot champion.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Let me pull up this roster. The AEW because there's no Brock.
That's a good one.
Look, there's no Brock here, so this one's a little bit different.
Right.
You know, so let's see. Looking at the men's, okay. Could Andrade be the shoot champion?
Probably not, because I don't know if he knows any of the MMA shit, and like people like Danielson and Moxley and O'Reilly, they all practice, and even Strong all practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So like, while they might not be able to fight that dude hand to hand, they're gonna grab a hold and break something, or try to, and get it on the ground.
Anthony Ogogo. Anthony Ogogo could be the shoot champion.
Ogogo would be the
Olympic boxer.
Definitely be one of the runners. Probably Ogogo.
It's probably him.
We haven't seen him since that Cody match, have we?
We've seen him after that, but not much.
Okay.
Who else could we? I don't think Big Bill's the shoot champion.
Nah. Ogogo's knocking him out.
Let's see. Brian Cage, not the shoot champ. Brody King, he's a big motherfucker, but I don't know.
Oh, I think Ogogo's not dropping him.
Yeah. Buddy Matthews got a lot of muscles, but I don't think they make muscles for your face.
Yeah. In the mention, I forgot to mention this. Oh yeah, the fucking Bellator fighter, Hager.
Yeah.
Hager's
that's
shoot
right.
champion. Hager's shoot champion. Yeah. Hager and Ogogo will be the 2 shoot champions.
The shoot champion. Let's see. Nope. Not Jay White, not Jeff Jarrett, definitely not Jeff Hardy. I know Kenny's trained in MMA. He has a record, but
he ain't no pro. He'll get dropped or he'll get hurt.
That's a long time ago. Too small for Hager. I wonder what Konosuke Takeshi's outside the ring ability look like. I don't know. Malachi Black.
I think too small. Too small for Hager and Ogogo.
MJF, no.
How dare you? Bruhaven said, what about Punk?
Nigga, stop. Let's see. I wonder what Hobbs will get into. I feel like Ogogo would get him out of there.
Ogogo would knock him out.
Roderick Strong. Like, he just seems like a tough guy.
Good
Samoa
answer
Joe.
if there was weight classes. We just talking about a catch weight. So he'd be out there having to go get it against Ogogo and them or Hager. He's too small.
Yeah. He's just... And then there's like
Wardlow. You said that Hobbs shit is like, bro, like this sound like brawl fall. Like, look, you remember they put Butterbean in there and what he did? Ogogo's not dropping all them dudes.
Yeah, it's Ogogo or Jake Hager.
We need a modern Enochiism fan. No, we do not.
Is that Josh Smith commenting on an alias?
Yeah, that sounds like something he would say. Right. I'm only joking. Yeah, okay, so as far as women, the answer is
women shoot.
Yeah, Marina's be the shoot champion in AEW.
Marina's the shoot champion. You know, it's hard to disagree with that.
Not really. It's the only motherfucker that's made the UFC. That's there.
Well, I mean, there's Ty Mello. She's I don't know how I don't know how far she got.
She might be she might be more advanced as far as Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but as far as like a actual fighter, professional fighter, Marina has experience and she doesn't really.
Thunder Rosa has been in MMA. Yeah, so I don't know.
I think it's Marina.
I think it's Marina. Yeah. Marina. So Marina and Hager.
Slash
and Ogogo. Yeah. So
our Enochiism, our pancrase champions. All elite pancrase.
That's great. But Chris Statlander defend the belt against Nyla Rose. It was good to see the TBS title, just be on the line here. Got a nice match of length. I want to send a special shout out to the people who immediately began grifting because they knew this show was going along swimmingly and the timeline was going crazy when they started talking about why. Look now, I see the TBS title is defended on TBS. What changed? And then they were making this, a Jay Cargill to Chris Statlander thing, and then I just gotta say, man. The race grift ain't working no more, man. Y'all going back to y'all trying to play hit cards y'all already played. Like y'all already shuffled this deck. This already was sent up here to be had. Y'all trying to rehash some old shit.
So what point are they trying to get at again?
Because now it's off the black woman. The belt can be defended on TBS now because Chris Statlander has it now.
Oh, so they're saying that AEW is so racist that they don't realize that Jay's a way bigger star than Chris Statlander.
They are so caught in the grift. I would say they disregarded that Jade is probably the single most protected person in the history of the company.
Well, that too. I was. Yeah, there's multiple layers of wrongness to it. Yeah, definitely.
And then aside from all the times that she actually did defend it on Dynamite, which was just a couple years or weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe to be exact, it's just bad grift. You just got to stop at this point, man. Like, cut the shit, as Jay would say.
Well, I mean, I was going to say something. I'll leave it alone. But, yeah. Yeah, I've seen Jade on Dynamite plenty of times.
Amazing.
So, maybe someone forgot. I don't know, but whatever. Tweets and jokes, I guess.
So I like this match between Statlander and Nyla. They went. I don't know how long they went. It seemed like they went through a commercial. So
it was better than their match they had on pay-per-view like 2 years ago.
Indeed. It was a good Blue Thunder bomb. Statlander, I thought, was solid in her return. This was, I
wonder how long she's actually been cleared.
Yeah. She wrapped the match up with the 450 splash. That thing looked as awesome as ever. They showed Ty Valkyrie watching this match, which, there's kind of a natural match built in. Like, I warm Jade up and you come out and just beat her after that. So, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world for Ty to do a heel turn here and then run it with Statlander.
Yeah. And also she's like historically better as a heel.
and I kind of gotta say, like, you know, I heard a lot of like negativity around Taya when she first signed. I think she's come in and been like exactly what she's kind of needed to be. Like her and Jade got, you know, reacted to like stars on the pay-per-view. And if she's like someone that can come in and like hold up like the secondary end of like this, like, and go in there with Statlander or go in there with whoever. And I don't think you're ever going to like push Valkyrie seriously, but like she's someone that can wrestle all these people, I think, and it'll look like people will react to her like a star because she's great in pre-tapes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people
she's a good promo.
Yeah, I think that's the thing people are worried about that are more familiar with her is that like she's so good at the stuff outside of bell to bell that like the people that don't like pro wrestling like gravitate to her and think that she's the one that you should be pushing or whatever else. And it's like, okay, cool, but then the bell rings and she's never the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in her division whenever she shows up. So I think that's a part that's like the disconnect for people when it comes to her. Cause like she definitely carries herself as a star, has a presence, dresses like a star, all that kind of stuff. It's just, and she knows a lot of the wrestling tricks, but like there's something that's like, I don't know if it's pacing or if it's athleticism, I don't know, but there's something that's missing there that it feels like you watch wrestling, like she's clearly competent, but it feels like they're like, why does it feel like there's a low ceiling? It's hard. That's from just when I've watched her from NXT to here. But yeah, like she's definitely someone that's like, you know, you put her on TV and she can make something work. Yeah.
So after that, we got the main event, Adam Cole and Britt Baker taking on Chris Jericho and Saraya. I think this was like light years better than I expected. I seen on the pay-per-view, it was like, ooh, they putting, yes, I saw the same comment you did. And
really accurate. Really accurate. Really accurate.
Not hilarious, everybody.
Yeah, you're onto something. You cooking with that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. And to be honest with you, like how LA Knight's doing on the main roster, I'm happy for him. Happy for him. Not everybody has to like do the same exact things.
I thought Britt Baker's and Adam Cole's gear was great. It came out, it was like some like teal and white like type cut. It looks like the Britt basically has a red and white motif of like that same one that she showed up. Her and Jamie had the matching ones in LA. Jericho and Saraya, like they were a great shit house team. I thought there was like, you know, like just all the gimmickry and tricks.
What was that expression?
They were great shit house.
Like, I don't even know what that means.
Like you'll know it when you see it. Like it's just like them like stunting and like being despicable and you know shit like that. Just veterans like whatever. But yeah, this was yeah. Britt hit a frog splash that was suboptimal. There was what else happened in this match? There was just a bunch of shit that happened in this match. I thought this was way better than the pay-per-view match.
Yeah, definitely.
They probably should have did this on pay-per-view. I'm trying to think. There was a Jericho match last year that was like not good on pay-per-view or not good the first time. They did it like again in some like the exact same rematch like again later, and it was like great last year. Sorry? The Danielson match?
Yes. It was Danielson. Yeah. Like this reminds me of that where it's like, damn, you thought this shit would have been way better, and then they do the second time. I'm like, this is exactly the match. Like they basically saying like, whatever we did, we fucked it up. Let's start over, whatever else. And like they continue the streak of Britt like just being a different level of wrestler when it's 4 people in the ring than 2. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know how to explain it.
Ain't gotta sell.
But she just excels in tags. Or she's at her best in tags. That's the best way to say it. I don't want to say she's a sell. I'm not saying she's fucking Nick Jackson, but she's great in tags.
You're going to talk yourself into getting some belts created for her. Quit playing.
Hey,
you better stop.
Rich,
you better stop. Look, Rich, you've been pushing this agenda for a while now.
Rich, I will be all in on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter being at the linchpin of a women's tag team division because that means that Britt Baker will be out of the singles division. So yes, You saying like it's a bad thing. All I heard was good things just then. Throw her ass in there.
But this ended up with Cole hitting the boom after Jericho got put in the lockjaw. And Jericho does another job here.
Yep.
I think Jericho's losing a lot right now. I think he needs to get some wins, whatever he goes into next.
So he lost to, I forgot who he was he lost to, but he lost to Action Andretti, and before that, who did he lose to? Like, it was basically like the same week.
He dropped the belt to Claudio.
Right, that's what it was.
Andretti.
So basically, since like December 12th,
like 6 months,
he's been cycling down, losing to people, whatever else. Like, a lot of people were upset about the Kingston thing last year, rightfully so. But like, he has been putting people over left and right for the last 7 months at this point.
Yeah. So I think, and the crazy thing is he's still gonna be over, right? But
he's a legend.
Yeah, like I think people need to get the idea of, like, we talked about it on the show. I think you may have even brought it up, is like, beating Chris Jericho don't make you Chris Jericho.
Right.
And it's just like, I think he's due for some W's personally. So
right, like people cycle up, people cycle down.
I think they should go into the Sammy and Jericho thing that we talked about last week.
That's gods, yeah. Or the storyline of them breaking up. They could do that, or they could do let's say Lace Gods as a tag team. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
There will always be something for Chris Jericho to do because Chris Jericho will come up with shit.
Right. But yeah, man. That was AEW Dynamite quickly through Rampage, which I watched Rampage this week. I was like, I'm back. Rampage. I hope you missed me. But I watched the first 3 matches. I had to do something during the last match, so I had to miss the end. I missed the end. Yeah.
That's one of the nastiest memes ever, too. And I know exactly what he's talking about.
So
it's a damn shame. Like, it's fucked up how Twitter is, how fucked up social media is, where like he's talking about a visual meme. He just typed in the words. I know exactly what the fuck he's talking. He's about that Lizzo Rick Ross shit. Oh my god. He said Daniel Sin with creative control, empowering CM Punk with creative control. Put a shirt on. Oh my god.
Sick. El Hijo del Vikingo going insane with Commander and Jalisco. 10 minutes of lucha madness. Definitely check that out because there was a lot of arm bars later in the show. So, if you want to see some flips, they opened the show with that. They knew. Then Willow Nightingale put the New Japan Strong Women's title on the line against Emi Sakura. And it felt like a completely different presentation of Willow Nightingale than we've got from her thus far. It was like, okay, she like it's time for her to be pushed, and it's like she kind of came in like confident. She was still doing her smile and stuff, but it wasn't like some type of geek type thing. It was like, yeah, she's a star now. Like her and Emi had a solid match, hitting each other hard, and I was like, I think someone should just lock Willow in a room and just tell her, yo, watch all the Aja Khan tapes you can and just rip everything off you see. But she gave her like that Dr. Bomb that was like just absolutely vicious in this match. Best match of the night, I think may have been the Zack Sabre Jr. and Action Andretti.
Oh wow. Was it basically like a Sabre Osprey match?
No, not really, but they if it wasn't the lucha match, it was this one because I think Action Andretti is a really talented guy. He's a young guy, and putting him in there with Zach, who's super veteran now, like Zach was doing all this shit. You know, I'm cutting you off, I'm putting you in locks, and I'm, you know, doing whatever. But Action was holding his own too, fighting back. You know, doing a lot of flips and you know, catching him off guard, jumping off the top rope. There was good strikes in this. I was like, man, Action is like he's raw, man. Like, and I just hope he, you know, can continue getting, you know, some chances to do his thing. I'd love to see him get in there with Vikingo. You know, love to see him get in there with the other Flyers and all that too. So, you know, keep doing his thing. Like, you know, just to start building them up. You know, give him the long, slow ride. I heard he had a really good Fight Without Honor match. I don't know who it was against, but it was in ROH, and they've been putting him with Darius Martin and AR Fox in ROH while Dante's out. And,
do we know how long Dante's going to be out for?
Yeah, that man broke his shit. So
right, but like, you know,
if I remember, it was an ankle, right? It was like broken
we
femur.
didn't know if it was ankle or if it was like low tib. I don't recall. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, so I only heard. But I have to Google it and figure it out.
I don't know when it'll be back, but I would love for like when he comes back to put them four together, like, you know, just whatever. But then Sabre ended up getting a win and all that, and Action Andretti was not headed to Dominion. But Katsuyori Shibata then defended against Lee Moriarty. I had to get up and you know, go downstairs for a minute and all that. But I did hear Shibata got the win, obviously. But the I totally forgot. Sheamus Nova. Yes. So there was an interview with Jeff Jarrett and the Posse backstage.
Oh yeah.
And then they had brought in like Karen Jarrett, and then all of a sudden it was like, I think she started talking something about Aubrey or whatever, and then Aubrey jumps into, like, comes in and just like stares her down, and then they start choking each other.
Yes.
But Mark Briscoe was like talking before that, and it was like he was basically just going around in a circle. It was like a cipher. It was like, here's something for you, here's something for you, here's something for you, and it was like it's gonna be Mark Briscoe and Jeff Jarrett, Mark Briscoe and Aubrey Edwards against Jeff and Karen Jarrett. Like, it looked like it was setting up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, bro, Collision, send that to Saturday. You know, we can send that to what is it? June 17th, United Center. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Keep that over there.
Yeah. Like, Chicago has 8,000 people. Tickets already sold. But, you know, Boston only has 3,000 tickets sold for that Dynamite. Nah.
Why are you picking out that one random show that's
a month away?
Down the road?
That's a month away? Just like that show's a month away?
That show's in 2 weeks.
What show's in 2 weeks?
The 17th.
Yeah, like they're both a month apart. Like, the reason why I brought it up is because when you sent me this thing, you were like, it was more Punk slander. I was like, yeah, but like, one show's a month away, and this show has twice as many tickets sold, over twice as many tickets sold. Like, to say that like this is some epic failure, or CM Punk is not like who he say he is or what people think he is. There's some debate about that, but like to say that like he's not the number one guy in AEW still or not is still to be disputed or still to be figured out over time. So it's like, I'm looking at this other one, it's like, well, this is the show that is the anti CM Punk show, and like that shit ain't doing nearly as well. So like, they're just cold selling tickets. This isn't a thing about CM Punk or not. That's where as far as when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at like all of these things, like outside of selling, you know, Forbidden Door, Wembley, domestically, they're cold for now compared to where they were, like, let's say a year ago or whatever else. So like, I'm just like, I don't know one way or the other, but like, this doesn't look like, I'm looking at the other stuff that doesn't have CM Punk on it, like, that's just doing even worse. So like, what is there to, what are we saying right now about, I understand people want to get their jokes off because like people have, you know, people are sick of Punk shit, and rightfully so, but it's like, but kill him for the shit that he's done, not like the other shit that where it's like, that's not actually what is worth killing him about. So that's kind of where I was at on it. So that's the end of the show. Technical difficulties. Rich's feed dropped completely. So I was in the middle of my Punk filibuster thing just now, and then I look up and like I'm like, okay, where did we end up leaving off at? And then I realized like, oh shit, Rich dropped. So, but like we were at the end of the show. But so thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate whatever app you're using. Listen this with. If you want to donate, you can go to our show notes in our in the podcast and go to the red circle link and donate there. And you can listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, Gourmet and Watch This Shit, 8-Bit Suplex, the Grave Consequences Podcast, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Get in the Ring, and Meet the Press Slam. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.